Well, John, the transfer window is now closed. Just January, did you get all the targets that you wanted? Was it stressful going up to 11 o'clock?
I was quite calm about it. I wasn't that stressed, to be honest. You know, there's been a lot of work gone on over the since I've been here, you know, and the build up to the window. You know, the recruitment room has been very, very busy. But January's a staying time for signing players, and, you know, I get that the fans will think, oh, well, we haven't been scoring goals, that's our Achilles heel, we haven't scored enough goals, and we haven't signed a striker. Well, we've signed 2 attacking players in the window, and certainly Asher and Jimmy Morgan. Also, Dominic Cornell is an attacking-minded player, although he can play defensive midfielder as well, as is Nelson. But I don't think our problem scoring goals is down to personnel. I honestly don't. I think our problem scoring goals is the philosophy we've got at the moment, the identity we've got at the moment, and the over-reliance on going backwards rather than going forwards. Now, I've been trying to change that since I came here. I thought I'd be able to change it quicker than I have. So, you know, I'm not going to give anybody any, you know, toffee that I'm this and I'm that. I've been trying as hard as I can. The fact of the matter is that if we don't start playing the type of football I want to play, there has to be drastic changes, and we've got enough of a squad to make drastic changes. If then we make them drastic changes and that still doesn't work, then we'll bring the youth players in. Because Gillingham Football Club and Gillingham fans deserve a team, certainly at home, who attacks teams, who goes forward, not just once or twice. Now, we have done, don't get me wrong, it's not all backwards. You know, so don't take that for any stretch of the imagination. Don't go to the extremes. But the feeling for me is we're not dominating games. We're not getting on the front foot. We're not sustaining enough attacks. We're not getting like we did the first 20 minutes at Doncaster, where we keep them pinned in till they're getting suffocated. And we've got to play like that. We've got to play on the front foot. So that, I think, is the problem. Now, we could have signed 10 strikers in the window. You know, I think we have to be mindful. You can't just keep topping up a bottle. So, you know, certain players didn't go out, and I think Tim was the only one who probably went out that week. But the top strikers who could make a difference are not going to be available in January, and you know, you could fall down the mine shaft of signing players and spending money on players that aren't really worth it. And so you've got to be mindful that, you know, we've got wonderful owners here in Brad and Shannon, and they deserve to have the money used wisely. And that's not saying that it hasn't been used wisely in the past. But all I'm saying is, going forward, we've got to, every signing we make has got to make a difference. Now, some signings is you take punts on people, you know. So as a League Two club, you know, in general, a lot of your signings have to be punts. But you can take educated punts, and you can sign players on lots of money and then suffer the consequences long term. So I get that the fans would have liked to have seen a striker. I would like to have seen a striker that I thought would make a difference. I don't think there was going to be one available in the window. I was definitely not just going to sign a token one and sign someone for the sake of saying, well, I brought a striker in, and then, you know, be reluctant to use him. We've got to change the way we play. If we're going to score goals, we've got to change the way we play. And that's the brutal truth. And that's what we will continue to focus on. We've spent a week training and doing that. And hopefully we'll get the results that we think we can get. I mean, I still, even you know, I've spoke to you after every game and before every game. You know, I'm not happy with the way we're playing, but I can still see signs that there is something there. We just got to get that out of them, and I've been doing it for myself and Jimmy. Have been doing it for 25 years. There's no reason why we're going to stop now.
Lovely, appreciate that, John. Thank you, Matt.
if we could just focus on the players that came in on transfer deadline day, always exciting for fans. Less so I know for the media staff here and yourselves waiting up into the middle of the early hours. But Andy Smith looked like one who was being courted by other teams as well. How pleased are you to have him firstly, and what does he bring?
Well, he's got experience in League One and League Two. He's one that we identified very, very early. So within the first 2 days of myself coming, you know, he was put to us in the recruitment room, and we did go and watch. Well, we did a lot of homework on him. We've sent people to watch him as well, and then we've watched a lot of video footage on him. And he was one that we think, you know, we could get going at this club. It was a long drawn out process, the fact of getting him, because Hull were reluctant to let him go till they got somebody else in. But I'm made up that he's come now. He's so keen. Once he knew he was coming, he didn't wait till the next day. He jumped in his car, got here at probably 10 o'clock for the medical. You know, which tells you that, you know, he was keen to come. And you want players who want to kickstart their career. He wasn't happy, even though he's in a championship club. He wasn't happy sitting on the bench. He wants to play. And I've got nothing but respect for people who are like that.
And obviously you've not conceded that many goals this season. Is it always about whatever position they play in, improving the squad incrementally in that way? Is that what?
Yeah, there's still areas that we need to improve defensively, even though we have got quite a good record. But we've cost ourselves games this season by lapses of concentration in defence, and that's got to get better. You know, and we defend as a team, we attack as a team, and so that's just not a slight at anybody or any department in the team. But I think we need to tighten up, and we need the ability to put pressure on each other.
And Don Corness, I think it's been certainly in the local media. It's been what was the phrase they've used? The wand, talking about his left foot. You talked about him being a defensive midfield player, but also attacking midfield player. What will Gills fancy of him? Well,
he's played in the top flight in Switzerland, so you know he has played in men's football, and you know he did a lot of that off his own bat going to Switzerland. It was a brave move for him, you know, and you've got to take your hat off to him again. He wants to play football. You know, he was desperate to leave Liverpool to have the opportunity to play men's football. And that shows you the character in him. He settled in really well. Again, he was another one. As soon as he knew he was coming on, he knew later. I think he got here about 2 o'clock in the morning, but he was determined to get down ready for training the next day. And that tells you everything you need to know about players, really. You know, that they're so desperate to kickstart the season, their career, and the rest of their season now. And, you know, myself and Jimmy have built our careers on getting young, hungry players to fight for every ball, to fight for the club, to fight for the fans, to fight for me and Jimmy, to fight for themselves, to fight for the teammates. That's what our teams have been all about. Then you add it with the quality that we've amassed over the years. Well, the quality's already here. We've got to get them other components.
You've obviously seen something in Sam Gale as well, in addition to his contract.
Yeah. As soon as we came in, it was muted that a contract was going to be on the table. I tried to push that through as quickly as I could. I like Sam. I think he's got a future. I think he's a future captain, hopefully at this club, which to have a local lad captain your club would be brilliant. He speaks well on the pitch as well. And he's not afraid to lead. And at this moment in time, we need leaders on the pitch.
Going to Barrow Saturday, no one wants to be in the situation you're in. You know what the club, no fans want to be, 8 games without a win. Do you see the green shoots in training? Do you see something that reassures you, I suppose, that this side can kick on from here?
I think Carlisle and Morecambe might be wanting to be in our shoes at the moment, but I'm not beating around the bush. We haven't won an 8, and that's not good enough for a club of this stature. Full stop. So there's nothing to be added and nothing to be taken away from that. We have got to get on a winning run. Now, you can keep doing the same things, or you can try and do different things, or you can try and have a different approach to the game rather than doing different things in your setup. We've got to get that. We've got to change that approach, and it's got to be getting on the front foot and playing forward, attacking football that I know our fans crave. And you saw the shooter recovery again towards the end of the game when we're knocking on the door with 10 minutes to go, and you see how the crowd respond. So the difference in walking off the pitch, having lost to Doncaster, and the difference of walking off the pitch and losing to Notts County. The fans stayed with us to the end, and I spoke to quite a few of the fans in the factory after the game, and I think they can see what we're trying to do. But it doesn't happen overnight, and we've got to change this attitude that when we get the ball, we protect it. Let's go forward, let's go and attack, and let's try and score goals.
You said just when you got here, obviously, first game, the first win, massively important to you. You bite your hands off for it. Do you see that hunger within this squad?
It's getting there. I can see it getting there, yeah. And we had quite a young team last week, and we've got to build on their enthusiasm as well, and we've got to rally the older players' enthusiasm. I'm the oldest manager in the Football League, I think now. There's no one more enthusiastic than me every single morning when I walk through the door. I feel privileged that I'm involved in professional football, full stop. And that's got nothing to do with my ability, because I know myself and Jimmy were a good management team and we've done really, really well over the years. So I'm not grateful for that, for the fact that I'm managing. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm involved in a sport that I've loved since I can ever remember walking. So I'm grateful for the fact that I'm still involved in a game that I've give everything to, and I will continue to give everything to till the day I die.
When you mentioned talking to fans in the factory, is that on the run you're on? Is that hard for you to do?
I'll never shy away with it from anybody. When we're playing well, I never get too high. When we're playing bad, I never get too low. I try to educate myself. I try to learn. Every day I'm trying to learn. Every time I'm trying to educate myself, and I do that outside football with the courses I go on and the books I read. But I've never shied away from public opinion. The fact is, and I think the fans are seeing that I am a football fan, so I understand their pain. I want them to feel my pain as well, because I feel theirs, but I want them to feel my pain as well. And then I also want them to feel my joy when it is joy.
Appreciate that, John. Oh, sorry, just quickly, housekeeping. Colin Masterson, is he getting close to coming back?
He was going to see a specialist this week, so I don't know whether that's today or tomorrow, but hopefully we'll get some news that he can progress his rehab.
It's taking time, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And Marcus Wiley the same?
Yeah, I think Marcus is probably a couple of weeks away.
Sure, that's great. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
With Dom, was that a player that you had an eye on from before? Or something?
I'd like to say yeah, but no, I would be lying if I did. I've got... There's certain players who've been really good signings for me over the years in the transfer window, in the January transfer window, which is always difficult, but I've made one or two good ones. And I was getting asked about that, who my best signing was in the January transfer window. And I can't be saying that it was in the January transfer window, but I've got a feeling it was. But I referenced Dan Barrow, who's currently at Middlesbrough now, is he? Yeah, Middlesbrough. And Dan came to us and was, he'd come out of Newcastle only playing 21s football, and he was a revelation. And the same agents put this lad onto me, and so that's when we started to do our due diligence. And I've got some good friends in recruitment in other teams, in League One teams and Championship teams. And when I run it by them as well, he was on their radar. So he scored very highly in all the ratings as well. So, and the fact that he's had experience isn't his first loan. And the deal that we managed to do with Liverpool was very advantageous for us. So I thought we've got a lad here who's hungry, desperate to play football, desperate to play man's football. It isn't just a myth. He is known as the Wand at Liverpool Football Club, which for a club of that size, and for someone who's got a left foot like Mo Salah, and he's got a left foot that's called a Wand, you know, you'd like to think we're going to get something out of him.
And he's obviously ambitious to be successful, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah, but he's keen.
Step back before to Liverpool.
He's keen, and you know, a lot of the time when he went to Switzerland, he did a lot of it off his own bat. You know, it cost him his own money to go there as well. So that shows you that he's more focused on his football than he is the monetary side of it. Which, believe you me, I've been involved with lots and lots of players. And when they put the football before the financial awards, you're getting a player who gives everything.
Suggestions that there might be a fan club in Liverpool soon, from those side.
Well, I've always been of the ilk that you can sometimes you can have too many people from Liverpool because there may be, well, sometimes it's happened to me once or twice, but not too much. They get a little bit parochial and they get a little bit they don't want to, they get a bit too loyal to each other, so they don't want to highlight weaknesses. When you get 2 or 3, and I think you get a lift, you get a drive, and you get people who care. I'm not saying that that's the only part of the world that cares, but yeah, I'm happy with 2 or 3. That's probably my limit.
I was reading something that Jimmy Bell was saying about people from Liverpool and stuff in the changing room and giving the team a kick up the backside when they needed it and stuff like that.
Well, they're not shy, and I'm certainly open that Nev and Tom will bring the best out of each other, to be honest. Conor Masterson counts himself as a scouser as well, you know. So.
Well, he's been on the bench for a Merseyside derby, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It wasn't a great atmosphere here at times, wasn't it, last time here? I have to ask about the skipper as well. People have been saying, oh, you know, maybe he shouldn't have bitten back when he had some criticism. What do you make of it when players maybe sort of respond?
Well, I'm going to sound like Arsene Wenger now. That I didn't see it or I didn't hear it. I didn't see it or hear it, to be honest. And it was only when I was told after the game. Just when I was going down into the club by someone from our club. I can understand people being frustrated. I can understand players being frustrated. If you take it on face value, Max has done okay for the 4 games I've been here. I think he's trying to lead by example rather than with his voice, and I think that has to come to the fore. And that needs to be, Max needs to be spoken to about that. I can understand his frustrations. I can understand the fans' frustrations. Is it healthy either way from either side for them to become vocal about it? No, not really. It doesn't do the player any good, and it certainly doesn't do the fans any good. So I think we've got to draw a line under it. Max needs to be just reminded, and he will be in the course of the week, that they're the people who pay his wages, and every one of us is vulnerable for criticism. Everyone's open to criticism. And sometimes you mightn't like it, but the only way you can get past that is to do better. Now, I think Max has been doing quite well. I think he's had 4 above average games in the games he's played for us so far that I've been here. But I'm wanting everyone to do better. Not just Max, I'm wanting everybody to step up to the plate and improve. And I think, he has guided Gailey through a couple of games. He's kept the centre forward off Gailey a lot and allowed Gailey to go and win his headers. So I think people might miss that. And sometimes, when you take a step back, things maybe aren't as great as they seem when things are good, and certainly things aren't as bad as they seem when things are feeling bad. Sometimes you've just got to be a bit calmer in your approach, a bit more realistic in your approach. But you've still got to remember your duty to the fans. And our players they've been told that in those certain circumstances this week, to be honest, what it means to be a professional footballer, what it means to represent a club and a set of people, and ultimately we're trying to lead. It's like, know this sounds crackers, but it's like going into battle, isn't it? You know, you're going into battle against another town, another set of people, another set of fans. Not a violent battle, but certainly a battle that you want to win. And you need everyone pulling in the right direction. And so, you know, that's when you get a hierarchy of leadership, and you've got to try and get everyone to lead.
When you talk to other coaches about players and people on the same radars, is that an awkward feeling for you?
No, not at all. I've been doing it for so long, and I've built up that much of a rapport with other people that they know they can trust me, and I know that I can trust them. And you know, I've never ever give false information about players that I've had. I've only ever been truthful. So I've built up really good personal relationships with most of the players who've gone through our tenure. But I wouldn't tell lies about them, either good or bad. And so even if I had a player that I didn't really get on with and he left on unsavoury terms, I wouldn't throw him under the bus. I'd tell the truth. And you know, some of them players who've left me on unsavoury terms have been good players, but they just haven't fitted into the style of football that we want. And likewise, I've had some great lads who've just gone over the edge of their career and are on the way down, and I've been honest, open and honest about that. I think just there's not enough. There's definitely not enough transparency in football, but there's not enough honesty in people that are always trying to guard their own backs and trying to feather the nests and trying to advance their careers. There is room for collaboration in football. There's room to be honest with each other. We're all doing the same job. We all should empathise with each other. And without doing, you know, your opposition too many favours, you know, you can be civil, and I definitely am, that's for sure.
Were you happy when you came into work Tuesday morning with the deck you've been left with for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was from my choice, so you'd always have the laugh. You know, you walk into the change room and go, oh, is this all I've got now? And, you know, I think the players can take it in the jest it's meant. But this is what we've got now. And it's up to us to make these players improve, to organise them better, to get them to play to their full potential, and to maximise every last drop of talent, of effort, work rate, desire. We've got to maximise every single drop of that till the end of the season.
You've got two very contrasting games coming up very quickly, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, you could say they'd be contrasting games, but League Two is very much Groundhog Day. You know, teams try to stick it into your box and try and score goals, and try and force you back. And there's lots of mistakes made in League Two. That's why we've got to change the way our approach to games. So we've got to put the ball in areas that teams can make mistakes that are beneficial to us, not detrimental to us.
Have a safe trip weekend.
Pardon?
Have a safe trip weekend.
Thank you.
I've got to ask you on a Thursday night, watching Liverpool play Spurs tonight, how confident are you?
I'm not as confident as what I should be, to be honest, and I've spoke to a few of the lads in there. Nev seems to think I'm trying to cry at home, saying, oh, I don't fancy them and that. I'm not saying I don't fancy Liverpool, because I love watching Liverpool, but I don't think it'll be as straightforward as people are making it out to be.
I see.